So tell me why I had just shown up to my computer science class, literally like my last computer science class of the semester, right? I sit down, I start talking with like my new group because we're working on a group assignment. Don't know who the fuck these people are. Keep in mind that.
Yeah.
And we're just making small talk. You know, finals coming up. Finals literally this coming week for me. And this dude, me and this guy start talking about the biochemistry final that we have.
Naturally.
And I'm like, yeah, that shit's hard. It's going to literally just have me beaten, battered, and bruised, you know?
Yeah.
And this dude goes, okay, well, it's like, it's not going to be too bad for me because I have extra time and that helps. And I go, oh shit, me too. Like, I also get extra time on the exams. Like, that's fucking fire. Like, trying to bond with this kid, right?
Does this guy listen to the pod?
No, God, no. Even if he did, bro deserves to get shit on this one.
Naturally.
And this dude goes, right after I said that, he goes, oh, like, what's wrong with you? Which is already, like, kind of a sus question to ask somebody.
What's wrong with you, bro?
Exactly. It's already kind of sus to ask somebody that, but, like, I usually don't give a shit because I'm used to it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, usually people ask because I have to wear, like, a bracelet around, like a medical alert ID and shit. And I go, oh, I got a muscle disease. And this motherfucker, I shit you not, the very next thing out of his dude's mouth was, how does that affect you? How does it affect you? How does it affect you to know?
You got ableism.
Who made this dude the fucking disability detective? the handicap handler.
The ableism administrator.
The myopathy manager.
Bro ableism to you.
Literally, bro. I got microaggressed. I'm just sitting in comp sci, bro. That shit had me fuming. I didn't even realize it, like, when it happened. It was like, and then after that, dude has the audacity to try to get me to join his fucking club.
Oh my God.
Right?
He said, so what you struggle with is invalid, but join my club.
Yeah. And I'm just sitting there like, what the fuck? And bro would not shut the fuck up. Oh my God. After he microaggressed me, shit was ridiculous, bro.
I can't believe that he just did that and was like, that's normal.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And bro's just going around asking people what's wrong with them.
You know what it's like to be oppressed now.
Like, shit. Yeah, literally.
You got aggressed.
God damn, dude. That had me fucked up, though. I've been fuming about it, like, since...
You were like, what is this feeling?
Exactly.
What is going on with
audacity of this dude.
That's so putrid.
Anyway, roll the show.
Tough day.
Facts.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. I hope you're not too distraught that Gage got ableismed. But welcome back to the show. I hope you're ready for a nice show. We actually got a lot to talk about today.
We do.
I think it's going to be an exciting one. But before we get started, make sure to check out, Patreon, YouTube, TikTok.
You know what to do. Check out the socials.
Talk about it every time. Leave us a 5-star review on Apple. We don't got any today. I know. I saw some people on our TikTok. They commented that they were going to leave a review. It's yet to be seen.
Exactly.
I don't see a review. I haven't seen the reviews. The reviews haven't
So if
come
you
in.
are listening, which you should be if you're saying you're going to leave a review.
If you're listening right now, which you must be if you're hearing this audio.
No pressure.
Leave us a review.
No pressure.
And we'll read it on the pod. Give you a little shout out.
You already know.
Show you a little bit of love at the intro. You know what we do. But today we're going to talk about a little bit about Kentucky. Got to give an update on the extreme weather conditions.
Facts.
Also, got to talk about Rand Paul, our favorite senator.
Love him.
We'll talk a little bit about democracy. We got some labor updates for you.
Facts.
Like with labor unions and stuff. And then a possible impending nuclear war. But don't panic. We'll get there.
True.
So I think we can dive right into the episode.
So we'll dive right into it. So I'm sure all of you are aware of the tornadoes that are happening right now, like not only in Kentucky, but across like a bunch of other like Midwestern and Southern states like that. I think it's gone through like 6 states and shit.
Yeah,
but Kentucky was the hardest hit.
I actually haven't seen that much news coverage on it.
I haven't either, but like I've seen headlines here and there. Like it hasn't been prevalent.
Yeah, we've become so desensitized.
Oh
like,
yeah, no,
just
literally,
people just dying. It's
facts. But so far, I think 70 people have died in Kentucky, with the projection to be upwards of over 100.
Jesus.
Right. So obviously, like something's wrong. Entire neighborhoods have been absolutely ravaged. Right.
Yeah.
So naturally, you would be asking for aid. And that's not the part that I want to highlight here. The part that I want to highlight with this is who is asking for this disaster relief.
First of all, if the United States struggles to send aid overseas to countries that have been ravaged by earthquakes and hurricanes and stuff, you're going to be hard pressed to get us to send anything to our own states.
Oh my God, which is like kind of surprising considering like you'd think we'd help our own first. No, we just don't want to help anybody.
No.
Specifically, our favorite Kentuckian senator, Rand Paul, does not want to help anyone but himself.
Kentuckian?
I don't fucking know what to say.
I am
You know how that
Kentuckian.
be. But anyway, let's take a look at this dude's fucking voting record, right?
Okay.
If you didn't know, in 2013, Rand Paul voted against providing aid for Hurricane Sandy. It's like aid to New York and
Oh
everything.
my god.
Yeah, he said no, thank you.
Good guy.
Again, in 2017, he voted against relief for not only Puerto Rico after Hurricane Maria, but also for Texas after Hurricane Harvey.
Bro hates people.
And it's like the Puerto Rico hurricane was bad.
What is his like response though? Like pull yourself up by your bootstraps?
No,
like
his response is literally, I don't want to raise the national debt.
dog, people are dying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, okay, obviously this is the kind of argument they make about like everything like healthcare, education, etc. But at the very least, like these people didn't cause a tornado to destroy their home.
You literally cannot say it was their fault.
Yeah.
Like, you can't. There's nothing you can do here. He's like, we shouldn't be doing new spending to raise the national debt. We need to take this spending from other areas.
Sorry, but sending a couple million of dollars will destroy the national debt because people don't deserve to be helped.
Ridiculous.
Come
dude.
on, dog.
Absolutely
Bro,
ridiculous.
the thing that's crazy because it's a big country. It's gonna cost a lot to have a big country.
Yeah.
Like that's the price of having a country, dog. Like,
And
do you want to keep the water running or not?
What's the point of having such a big country when the other parts aren't willing to help the smaller parts?
Yeah.
We already, like, red states are already an unnecessary burden on the union.
Exactly.
Like, the least we can do is just give them aid when they fucking need it.
His own state.
His own state. But he wants aid. He wants aid
Of
for
course, he
Kentucky.
wants it for Kentucky.
Yeah. He wants aid only when it directly affects his constituency
Naturally.
and directly affects his seat of power.
Yeah.
Because he really doesn't give a shit about his constituency, or he would actually care to vote for good things, right? But those aren't the only things he's voted no on. He also voted no for a bill in 2019 that would distribute over $17 billion in disaster relief funding to different federal organizations, and he voted no against all the COVID bills.
This guy's a demon.
He fucking sucks.
He's the worst.
He fucking sucks. And
yeah,
people
bro.
have like,
Because if we help people that have been affected by tornadoes, that will make them reliant on the nanny state.
yeah, guys, but the national debt though.
Yeah.
Imagine losing your house. Imagine losing your house and all your possessions. And then Rand Paul says, I'm sorry, but what about the national debt? What about my debt?
You're literally like having to swim to get out of your house. 'Cause
Literally.
everything is so
You
flooded.
had to have motherfuckers like row on a boat to save you from the roof of your house. And Rand Paul says, I'm sorry, but this is going to put too much of a dent into the national debt.
What about the debt, dog? You got to think about someone other than yourself.
But funding the Iron Dome is okay.
Yeah.
But funding the Iron Dome is okay.
Yeah, bro. We couldn't take money away from the military.
Exactly.
Nothing like
no,
that.
No, we
Good
wouldn't want to. We
Lord.
wouldn't want to reduce the record high defense bill, or not defense bill, defense budget that was just passed. Even though we're not in a war anymore.
Bro, imagine being in Kentucky. The roof of your house gets ripped off, and your senator is like, debt though.
Hey, bro, sorry.
National debt.
Sorry. Well, I guess not in this case, since it's its own home
facts.
state.
Yeah, he does want
Now
money
he's
for his own
asking for
state.
help, and people are like rightfully shitting on him online. But I've been seeing a lot of takes that are akin to those from Texas when Texas had its cold snap.
Yeah.
Where people are like, "Oh, let them suffer. They voted for this." The people of Kentucky, one, are not all Republicans, and two, did not vote for like this. You know what I mean?
Right. They
People
didn't-
are like, don't give them aid. They need to learn the hard way for voting for like these senators.
I don't know when the last time Rand Paul was elected, but I would have to assume that it was probably less than a majority of people
Oh yeah.
that turned out to vote, which means that it was significantly less than a majority of people that voted for him.
Uh-huh.
Which means that a majority of Kentuckians
Yeah.
did not vote to have their houses torn apart by a tornado.
It's like, I'm sorry, but if you have a take like that, your ivory tower liberal is showing through.
yeah, dog,
You know what I mean?
These are humans suffering.
It's fucking, they deserve aid. Like,
Yes.
we aren't like attacking that they need aid or anything. We're just attacking Rand Paul.
Yeah.
Because actually, fuck that guy.
I mean, that's like saying people that don't get vaccinated literally deserve to die.
Yeah,
Like,
they
come
do
on.
not.
That you don't deserve to die. Like,
Facts.
I know
They're
you,
ignorant.
maybe you made a bad decision, but that doesn't mean you deserve to have your house destroyed by a
Facts,
tornado.
bro,
Come on.
facts.
Like, just have a little bit of like empathy in your soul, please.
So yeah, I really just wanted to point that out for all you. If any of you are listening from Kentucky specifically, just
Be safe.
one, be safe. I hope
safe.
you're okay.
Yeah.
Two, throw Rand Paul's voting record at any of your Your homies.
Yeah, and next time Rand Paul is up, I don't know if it's in 22 or 24 or whenever, vote him out, please.
Yeah, please. I'm actually begging you. I'm sick of seeing this dude in the news.
McConnell was up last time around. Didn't work out. Rand Paul is up. I don't know what's going to happen.
Even though McConnell had like, what, a 30% approval rating? Or was it even worse than that?
No, it was like 17% approval rating. But bro won by like 30 points.
Yeah.
Over, was it?
Who fucking knows? It literally doesn't matter.
Some teacher that ran it. It doesn't matter. But like, yeah, McConnell absolutely destroyed.
And both of them from Kentucky, right?
Yeah. Jamie Harrison, that's who it was. I don't think he was a teacher.
How does one state have just both of the worst senators in Congress?
I don't know, dog. And like Mitch McConnell has the worst approval rating of any senator in America.
Mitch McConnell's like the worst person in America, but also Rand Paul is the most annoying libertarian.
Yeah.
Like ever.
He's not even a libertarian. He just
not at all.
People.
He's just an alt-right lunatic.
All right. Anyway, moving on. We got to talk about some trouble for democracy a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Because our boy democracy, as much as it does exist in this country, is struggling to say the least.
Our boy democracy is bleeding.
Yeah. So we hate on Democrats a lot. You know, and they
rightfully so.
They deserve
rightfully
it.
so.
But one issue that Democrats are actually good on is not being anti-democratic. At the very least, they are not trying to undermine the democratic institutions. At least, in the general election,
at least they try to pass voting rights bills.
Right.
Try and fail, but maybe at least they're
not actively trying to stop black people from voting like Republicans are.
Yeah.
But democracy in 2024 amidst the House or just not the Senate passing H.R. 1 or H.R. 4 or really any voting rights reform, although there's a bill that we'll talk about in a minute. But amidst that, not really doing anything for democracy, doing nothing to strengthen it, things aren't looking great.
Not at all.
Especially because the Electoral College is a fundamentally broken system, which we don't need to get into right now. But the Electoral College is already broken, easily twistable. It's built to empower conservative candidates. And the GOP is back at it again.
Literally exists as a compromise to slave-holding states.
Yeah.
That's it. That's like why the Electoral College is there. It's a relic of slavery.
And, I say back at it again, but more accurately is continuing what they've been doing. I mean, the GOP has always hated, well, I guess I shouldn't say always, but like conservatives have always hated voting rights in general.
Yeah.
But now they're doing it especially hard.
Whoa, are you sure conservatives have hated voting rights? Democrats, after all, were the party of Jim Crow. The party switch never happened.
The progressive Dixiecrats. The progressive Dixiecrats that really loved socialism but hated black people.
Exactly.
Yeah, those people. But yeah, the GOP is continuing what they've been doing, especially, based on the coup that was attempted in January, back on January 6th.
It's
anyway,
not even like just the whole election.
Yeah, but the news here is that about 36 legislatures across the country are working on or have already passed bills that make it harder to vote. And the pushes obviously always come from the GOP. It's always like Republican-controlled legislators that are doing.
I think most states have a Republican legislature.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Well, I mean, yeah, most states are red, so most states have Republican legislatures.
That's true.
That's just how it goes. And reports have shown that some of these bills, if enacted, would allow state legislatures to send their own hand-picked state electors through the Electoral College instead of the electors being chosen by a majority vote, which is how it works right now. So for those that don't really know what the Electoral College is, when you vote in your state, we live in Michigan, so when we vote in Michigan for a president, we are actually voting for the electors that will go through the Electoral College that will choose the president that we want to win. So when we voted for Joe Biden, yay Biden, we did it, Biden.
Wow.
We were actually voting for the electors of Joe Biden. And then once they won, they go through the Electoral College and sign this little affidavit thing that says we, all vote for Joe Biden. But what Republicans want to do is even if you vote for, say, Joe Biden in 2024, the Democrat or whatever, they want to make a system in which they can override what the electors want to do and send their own electors through the Electoral College. Basically overriding the popular vote in your state.
I absolutely love that because the concept of electors is already just outdated. It is a unnecessary middleman. Why am I voting for an elector to go then cast their vote for Joe Biden when I voted for Joe?
Yeah.
And this is already besides the fact that Republicans want to be able to send their own electors, right?
Yeah.
Electors can already vote against the popular vote if they want to. And I think it's happened 3 times in history. It hasn't like altered an election or anything, but there have been electors that have gone against what they were supposed to do because they can. They can just do that.
Yeah. It varies state to state. Like,
Yeah.
I think in Michigan, they're tied to like vote for the candidate they were chosen for.
Yeah.
But in certain states, they don't have to.
They can do whatever the fuck they want.
Yep.
It's kind of ridiculous. And why are they there? It's like, it's unceremonious, you know?
Yeah. And I mean, the original intent of having the Electoral College was so that you could have elites in the country choose the president and override the popular vote, which at the time was only propertied white men.
Yeah.
So that they could override the popular vote if they needed to.
Which they didn't.
Which, yeah. But at this point, electors are really just like an outdated, very old concept that we don't really need anymore.
Yeah.
And it's great to see that Republicans know that. They're just completely manipulating it. But anyway, some of the GOP bills would give the legislatures, like I said, the opportunity to completely hijack the process, deny the popular vote, and circumnavigate the governor and secretary of state, so that they could basically just appoint whoever they want to go to the Electoral College.
That's so fun.
So that's actually a lot of fun. That's actually a lot of fun.
And it's like, the like, most insidious thing about this is like, generally, like, people know about the Electoral College.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, people know what it is.
Every 4 years, baby.
Nobody knows what the fucking electors are.
No.
Barely anybody knows what they do, what their purpose is, that they even exist.
I mean, in some states, the ballot doesn't even say, like, electors for Joe Biden.
Yeah.
It just says Joe Biden.
Literally. In Michigan, doesn't it just say Joe Biden?
I think it says electors for.
It does?
I
Oh,
think
shit.
so.
I wouldn't know. I just straight ticket voted, you
Yeah,
know?
true. Got to.
Exactly.
But the thing here is that you may be saying, like, well, I mean, they're doing it through, like, the power of their state legislatures. Trump already tried to do this.
Yeah.
They're just now codifying into law. He literally said at the last election that state legislatures should overrule their electoral processes so that they could send electors for Donald Trump. Like in Michigan, he did that in Georgia. He literally told them in Georgia to do this, but they couldn't do it. Their state law didn't let them.
Yeah.
And now they're setting it up so they can do it in the future. And they will. Like, we
God damn.
literally
No,
know
yeah.
that they will.
Yeah, no, there's a precedent for it.
And like, this is one of the main reasons that you can look throughout history. One of the main reasons that authoritarians rise to power is because when they're rising to power, they're manipulating the law in their favor, typically laws that are supposed to uphold democracy. And the liberal response is literally nothing.
Oh, yeah.
They literally do nothing while they manipulate the system. Hitler did this, not to like be that guy that like, compares him to Hitler, but Hitler literally did this, and he rose to power, and nobody stopped him because they thought they could control him, and they thought it wouldn't be that big of a deal.
And it points to a broader trend right here in America of how liberal hypocrisy and liberal inaction literally drives the GOP and drives the country further right. We see it specifically like in schools. Liberals doing everything like cutting standardized test scores from graduation requirements, doing other shit like that. They will do anything but just fund inner city schools.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's the whole math is racist push that they're doing, which is like, I understand where they're coming from, but the headlines are inflammatory. They only drive like alt-right lunatics to go through.
Yeah.
And they will just do anything but help people.
That's the thing, is because the underlying cause behind most of the problems that liberals say they want to solve is literally just capitalism.
Yeah.
And they can't do it. They can't address capitalism.
It hurt their pockets.
Standardized testing does negatively impact students of color because if you aren't exposed to the same environmental or educational conditions, then of course you're not going to score as well as those that went to wealthier schools on standardized tests. Like, that's how standardized tests work. It assumes everyone had the same conditions, which they clearly don't. But like, you're not actually addressing the reason why standardized testing is bad. You're addressing only math. Like, it's stupid. It's dumb.
Literally, because when you like get rid of standardized test scores as like a graduation requirement or a college admissions requirement, you're just feeding in to the right-wing stereotypes that these kids can't do math. It's not that people of color have a different ability. It's not that poor people are just dumber than rich people.
Right.
It's that they don't have the resources to score well on these things. Their schools are not funded.
Exactly.
They don't have any of the amenities in their neighborhoods that foster these things. Like, it's so stupid.
Yeah. Anyway, getting back to democracy a little bit. It's especially scary now because there are several governors that are going up for election that have been staunchly anti-Trump, or at least didn't overturn the election if they were Republicans. Some of those states are Wisconsin, which has a Democratic governor, Michigan and Arizona. Actually, Arizona has a Republican governor, but they didn't overturn the election.
Yeah.
But Michigan, Gretchen Whitmer, and Pennsylvania has a Democratic governor, and all those four states are up for re-election for their governor.
No.
And then, of course, they're going to be challenged by a pro-Trump candidate. And the last line of defense against these laws that would set up the 2024 election to be overturnable is literally the governor's mansion. If we don't
Damn.
have a Democratic governor in control, they can't veto bills, and it's like Michigan's electoral votes could be easily overturned at that point.
Facts.
Yeah.
Dude, that's crazy. Low key, on like the subject of the Michigan race, I kind of hope that John Jones runs again just so we can lose.
John James
runs again just so we can lose for like a 5th time.
I don't think it'll be him, but they'll definitely find somebody that's very pro-Trump. And if we lose Democratic governors, as liberal as it may seem to say this, if we lose Democratic governors, that's literally the last line of defense against these bills. Like that's literally all that we have left. So the best thing that you can do if you want to like ensure that this doesn't happen in your state is like just try to elect a Democratic governor. I know it's like individually it's impossible to do that on your own, but like that's the most important thing for the short term at the very least.
And like speaking to this broadly, if you've been listening for like a couple of the pods, you know how we feel about the Constitution. You know how we think that it's stupid, like the American fetish with the Constitution and shit like that. But conservatives love it. Or at least they pretend to love it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And things like these just prove they will do anything in their power to circumnavigate anything in the Constitution to stop them.
Yeah.
It goes to this. It goes to the Texas abortion ban. Well, Texas abortion bounties.
Yes.
That's just a way for them to circumvent constitutional rulings from the Supreme Court. They're just circumventing the courts.
Yeah, and then they say like, well, they made up these judicial rulings. Like, every law is made up.
Yeah, none of it's real, dog.
The Supreme Court literally gave itself the power to interpret laws. It didn't have that originally. Like every single judicial interpretation is made up.
Yeah.
None of it's real.
All the law is made up. None of this exists in nature. It's not floating around.
Well, that's the thing is a lot of the time they want to like appeal to some natural law that is like should rule the land, but that oftentimes is literally just like white supremacy.
It's just fallacious.
Yeah.
It's either white supremacy or it's just anti-poor people.
Yeah.
It's literally like,
blatant misogyny,
it's a
homophobia.
dog-eat-dog world out there.
Yeah. No, like it's their appeal to natural law is just like racism.
Exactly.
I mean, it's just like being blatantly discriminatory towards people.
And they literally do not give a shit about the Constitution, no matter how much they pretend to.
And it's funny that they appeal to natural law because a lot of the people I see appealing to that would literally get fucked.
Ben Shapiro.
If we lived in like a chaotic society.
No facts.
Like, it's like some 5'3" skinny ass white dude that's saying like, well, the law of nature. It's like, shut up, dog.
If
it was the law of nature, I would be your boss.
Ben Shapiro is not going to be king of the jungle.
No.
Neither is Rand Paul. Neither is any of these fucking libertarians.
Not at all. But anyway, to highlight the threat that our democracy faces, I wanted to talk a little bit about one of our favorites, friend of the show, Marjorie Taylor Greene. She had a C-SPAN conference that it was like 45 minutes. I did not watch all of it.
But you know what I thought of when I was watching that? Completely like off topic. But
what?
Marjorie Taylor Greene kind of looks like Brandy Love from Wish.com.
Oh my god.
Right?
Anyways, Marjorie Taylor Greene held a press conference on C-SPAN with Paul Gosar and Matt Gaetz and some other guy. I can't remember what his name was. But they were basically holding this press conference to talk about the terrible treatment that political prisoners from January 6th are being exposed to.
The horrible, horrendous treatment.
Horrible treatment. She said that we have a 2-tiered criminal justice system.
Based?
I'm guessing. No.
Based?
I think what she meant was one for conservatives and then one for like everybody else.
1,000%. Yeah.
Even though they're like, I've looked at some reports of this. There's only about 40 to 50 people that are in jail for January 6th.
Even though
there's like 1,000 people there.
Like, yeah, we do have a 2-tiered criminal justice system.
Yes.
Just not in the way that you're saying it.
Yeah, exactly. And then she said that she did the thing where she was like, there have been reports that only 6% of BLM riots were dangerous or led to riots or whatever. 6% of BLM protests led to riots. And she was like, that's 570 BLM riots.
Yeah, but no. It was 6% turned violent in any way.
Yeah.
And a violent interaction constituted literally like any unpleasant interaction with the police.
Yeah.
Like resisting arrest was classified as violent for the terms of these statistics.
But you know what she said, what her quote was? She said, there were 570 BLM riots over the last 2 years, but only one riot at the Capitol. Like, dog, yeah, they stormed the Capitol.
Yeah, bro, it's the capital of the country.
They stormed the Capitol while Mike Pence was there.
That's so ballsy.
Every member of Congress was there.
They
literally
wanted to kill him.
Yeah. Like, dog, what do you mean there was only one?
Zip ties and shit.
Bro, I was watching that. She's straight up gaslighting me.
Oh, yeah.
Marjorie Taylor Greene straight up gaslight. How are you going to say that? There was only one riot at the Capitol.
I thought y'all hated riots no matter what.
Right. And then she said 90% or more BLM protesters have been released from jail.
Cap.
Like, come on.
Like, on like what, bail funds? Like, most of them were wrongfully put there in the first place
Right,
anyway.
Exactly.
Whatever. Okay.
And she's literally saying that she would rather have BLM protesters subject to these terrible prison conditions, but not
Yeah.
the people that politically support her.
No, fact. That's literally what she's saying.
Yeah. And then she said that a lot of the people jailed for the January 6th riots are in unacceptable conditions. I wonder if any other jails or prisons in the country are like that.
Yeah, she talked about this DC prison that they're being held in is notoriously bad. They've had like mold and mildew issues, health code violations. They've historically had to move over 200 like inmates out because of heat exhaustion and shit like that. Why didn't you ever talk about that before?
They only love Crime and Punishment when it's for black people.
Yeah, literally, like, why didn't you ever talk about any of this before? Why aren't you talking about this in a context of like national prison reform?
Yeah.
It's just your supporters that you want out.
Like, she talked about how prisoners are being like beaten by the guards. They're being denied religious services. They're being denied like haircuts and shaving, hygiene, time with attorneys. It's like, I wonder if this is literally a trend at every fucking prison in the United States.
Welcome to the American prison industrial complex.
Right. She just stumbled onto a systemic issue that she only wants to like address in the most minuscule, myopic way in order for her to get a political boost.
Like, yes, this is what we've been advocating against. Like, that's crazy.
She doesn't give a fuck about people unless they're literally just adjacent to her agenda.
No, she doesn't give a fuck about people unless they're one of the few Americans that are willing to get up every night at 9 p.m. and put their hand over their heart and sing the national anthem like these fine Americans do.
Bro, you're such a bootlicker if you're in prison singing the Who put you there, big dog?
Dude, like,
American
that can't
Ideals?
even be real. That literally can't be real.
No, that's what she
said that. She literally said that, by the way. That's a quote.
Mm-hmm.
That's a quote. She said, these Americans, every night at 9 p.m., hand over heart, just belting.
That's
if
so
I was
funny.
a guard in that prison.
She also went on to say that they're being treated harsher than terrorists at Gitmo.
Mm-hmm. It's like, you're okay with Gitmo. You like Gitmo.
You like Gitmo.
You like
You
Gitmo.
love Guantanamo Bay, baby. Like,
Facts.
and like, she doesn't care. She doesn't care about the prison system. She just cares when it's her own like white supporters being locked up and brutalized.
Literally only white
and
people.
I doubt they're literally even being brutalized.
Mm-mm.
There's like what, 4 people at the Capitol riot? 4 black people at the Capitol riot.
She
on January 6th?
mentioned among like the horrible treatment that they can't clip their nails.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, yeah, dog. Okay. Like,
do you actually want to address
Like-
the prison system in any meaningful way?
okay, bite your nails. Let's talk about the actual like horrible things that go on in prisons.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's so funny that she like latches onto this like prison system issue when she has no actual intent of solving it.
Oh God, no.
Like, she loves for-profit prisons. All conservatives do.
It's just on there to get her people out
yeah.
because they are political prisoners.
But this is, I wanted to point this out because this is a prime example of exactly what fascists will do, like authoritarian leaders will do. They're typically, historically, have not been afraid to go against the party, which in this case would be the issue of privatized prisons, because all conservatives love it. And frankly, a lot of Democrats do as well.
Oh, facts.
But they're not fascists and authoritarians that tend to rise up. They're willing to go against their party if it means they can gain political clout amongst their base. And that's exactly what she's doing.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
they're not afraid to abandon neoliberalism if it is going to serve their rise to power, which is it's exactly what they're doing.
I mean, to be fair, like if I was a upper middle class like shop owner,
Yeah.
like mid-sized business owner, I'd think she was spitting the whole time.
Oh, yeah.
Because like she was hitting all the talking points like perfectly. She
Yeah.
had been working on this speech.
I know, like, she's a demon.
Uh-huh.
I hate her.
Uh-huh.
She's literally a Nazi.
Facts.
But she was orating. I can't lie.
She was orating.
Like, if I was a conservative, if I wasn't politically inclined, I would have been like, damn.
No, literally, if I was like even adjacent to the right, if I was
Yeah.
center right, I'd be like, yeah, she's really got a point here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's kind of like the Ghislaine Maxwell's defense attorney.
Yeah.
It's like right there, like, damn, she's spitting, but
Yeah.
I hate you and you're a demon.
Yeah, exactly. But in the face of all of this, while our democracy is being threatened, while Marjorie Taylor Greene and a little pedophile are on stage on C-SPAN, Biden, he was at a summit for democracy last week.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just about as meaningless as you may assume.
Another one of these super fruitful summits.
Yeah.
Again, like the 6th one in the past few months.
Based on like the reporting I had seen, apparently it was like Biden and Vice President Harris talking a lot, but then it was also world leaders were there, like virtually there. It was like a Zoom call, basically.
Oh my God.
But they were just sending pre-recorded videos. Like, they
Wow.
weren't actually there.
I just love the
Like, it's so
circle
meaningless.
jerk. I love the circle jerk that is the like world stage, you know?
Yeah, and apparently China and Russia weren't invited because like they're obviously not very democratic
Classic.
at all. But they apparently they just like afterwards wrote joint statements together clowning on the U.S. Like they literally were just memeing us. And it's
Damn.
like how like what is a Summit for Democracy going to do when you're not actually including anyone from your country that is like their voting rights are being stripped away from them by Republican
When you're not going to
legislatures?
talk about the John Lewis Voting Rights Act.
Yeah.
When you're not going to talk about HR1, any of this shit, bro.
I found this hilarious quote though.
Okay.
Very
Let me
like
hear it.
imperialist colonialism kind of
All
thing. It's so funny. It says, beyond rhetoric, the president announced he was launching an initiative to spend up to $424 million for programming around the world that supports independent media, anti-corruption work, and more.
No, oh
It's
my
like, bro,
God, bro.
they're only going to support like pro-U.S. news systems.
Literally, they're only going to support like conservative radio shows.
Like this is propaganda.
That's it.
Like-
He's literally just admitted that he's funding propaganda overseas.
Like, bro, it cannot be an independent media source if it's funded by the United States. Like, that's just straight up imperialism, dog.
And it's like, that's a lot of money overseas.
Mm-hmm.
Like some of these countries, that's crazy.
Bro, you're telling me that you're going to fund a pro-U.S. News site in China? They're literally going to die. Like, China will kill them. Like there's a lot of problems in China, but like there's no shot that they would allow a U.S. news source to exist in their country.
They're quite literally funding Newsmaxes in other countries.
Yeah.
Like that's what it is. They're funding Newsmax and OAN.
We historically have funded like right-wing news sources. in
Yeah,
other
no,
countries.
exactly.
Like they're gonna just spread propaganda. That's literally all that was. So I thought that was funny. But in some positive news, the House did pass the Protecting Our Democracy Act last Thursday on a 220 to 208 vote, which was party lines, except Adam Kissinger.
Wow, he's
voted yes.
wow,
He's a
so
hero.
cool. What a guy.
The act is honestly kind of minimal, but it aims to reform the elections process to the extent that the existing president or the sitting president can't really manipulate it as much because, Trump tried to run a coup and took a massive L.
Yeah.
And it also, I would say the best thing that it does is it requires all candidates for president and vice president to submit 10 years worth of tax returns
That's fire.
to the FEC. And if they don't do it, the Treasury Department can just turn over their stuff,
That's fine.
which is pretty heat.
When Biden said "Inshallah" at the debate, he really meant it.
Yeah, he is making it happen.
He made
that
it
might
happen.
tell you something.
That's crazy.
But I think honestly that's the best thing that it does. It also set up some more guardrails so that like subpoenas can't be so easily dodged for congressional committees and stuff.
Oh,
But honestly, it's overall doesn't do a ton. There were some restrictions on like the pardon power for the president, of
That's
which there's
cool.
currently none, by the way.
What were the restrictions?
It wasn't even really a restriction. It's just a responsibility that the Justice Department has to like turn over like all relevant documents to congressional committees while they do it.
So they can still just pardon.
Right. So it's really just like a procedural thing.
Yeah, they can pardon them, but we have to know like more about what they did.
And I think there may have been more restrictions on if like the person being pardoned is like an ally or a family member of the president, because Trump did that so much.
Yeah.
So I don't specifically know what those were, but it's not a bad bill, but it doesn't do a whole lot. It's very, very small compared to like HR1 or something, but like that's fine.
Love it.
Yeah. And in other voting news, the debt ceiling's going to get raised.
Of course it is.
I didn't think that deserved its own section today.
Definitely not. It literally can't get raised without the country crumbling in on itself.
Yeah.
So,
But apparently it was I don't even know how the story went. It really doesn't matter. It's all procedural stuff, but apparently they voted for a bill for a one-time exception that the Democrats can pass. Oh, it didn't say Democrats, but a one-time exception that the debt ceiling can be raised with only 51 votes. So at one time it doesn't need the filibuster. And Mitch McConnell helped that get done.
wow.
Which is like, I guess.
Okay. Like
Yeah.
whatever, dog.
And it was, I don't know how many other Republicans voted for it to like make sure that bill passed the filibuster so that the filibuster doesn't need to be reached for the debt ceiling. It's like 60 something. But like, why, if you're passing that bill, why not just vote to raise the debt ceiling at that point?
Hey, yo, wait a minute.
It doesn't, nobody,
Yo, wait a minute.
the details don't matter. What matters is that it literally doesn't matter. You can quote me on that.
True. But also, wasn't McConnell the one like leading the charge against raising the debt
No,
ceiling?
he literally came up with it. It was his plan.
Wait, which one?
It was his plan. Well, both. He literally was the one that was like, we're not going to raise the debt ceiling.
Dude, it's the definition of create the problem so you can solve it later.
No, yeah, he literally caused. It's the classic Republican thing, except in this instance, he fumbled both
True.
because the debt ceiling's getting raised and now he's getting shit. Like,
I can't believe he really. Oh my god, dude! This. Ooh, Kentucky.
Yeah. Debt ceiling, I mean, that stuff doesn't matter. But just know it's going to be raised. We're not going to default on our loans.
Yeah, so cool. So cool.
And actually, I think is the 15th Wednesday. So like on Wednesday, it'll have to be raised by then. That was the deadline. But the deadline before was also like October 8th. And it didn't happen then.
They said it literally needs to happen before October 8th or we're done for. We're done.
Yeah, the country's going to explode.
And here we are.
Yeah, exactly.
Chilling.
But that's happening, so that's cool. But I think it's time for some better news, some lighter news.
Exactly.
Kinda.
Some lighter news and then some not lighter news. You know how it goes around here.
We got some labor updates for you all. You know that we like to watch what the labor unions are doing.
Exactly.
So last week, for the first time ever, a Starbucks in Buffalo, New York voted to unionize.
Let's go.
Only one location.
That video was hype though. Did you see the video where they announced the vote and they all got up? That shit was cool.
They voted to unionize on a 19-8 vote. So it was just one location. And the NLRB, which is the National Labor Relations Board, they certified the election victory, which means Starbucks is now legally obligated to negotiate with them.
Fire.
Which is hard. And there was also 2 other stores, I think, nearby that one voted to unionize, but the vote was like 12-8 no. But they were also claiming that like some votes weren't counted, so that might change. And then the other one hasn't been certified yet. So more news will come out on those in the future, but one is confirmed to have won their union vote, which is pretty safe.
Imagine voting no.
Right.
Imagine voting no at Starbucks. Like, yeah, I really like being berated by customers every day from 7 to 9 a.m.
It's not worth it.
Not at all.
It's not worth it unless you're getting paid like stupid amount.
Which you're not. Working at Starbucks, you are not being paid a stupid amount.
But their victory, it comes after a very long campaign that Starbucks tried to dismantle, along with, all of their other anti-union attempts to dismantle everything.
Dog, this is just one store.
Yeah.
So much time and effort from corporate trying to derail this one store's attempt at unionizing.
I think it was like a year-long campaign at least.
Yeah.
So it took them a while, but they got it done.
Facts.
And that's it takes a lot of determination to fight against the corporate structure of Starbucks breathing down your neck in one location.
It takes a lot of guts to fight against more money than you will ever see in your entire life.
Yeah, absolutely. Just trying to get a $20 an hour wage.
Not even that. 15, I think, is what they're shooting for.
Really?
Or no, I think Starbucks just raised it to 15 to 23 or something.
Right, because they want to suppress calls for unions.
Exactly. They didn't want them to unionize.
Yeah, exactly. And this also comes after a whole bunch of other labor movements that have been happening across the country. For example, last week, Kellogg's workers decided to reject a contract that only included 3% raises, which go them.
Which is kind of fire until you realize that now Kellogg is trying to fire them and hire scabs.
How is that legal?
I don't know.
That should not be allowed.
That's what I'm saying. But yeah, they're actively trying to hire scabs right now. So what I would suggest you all do is submit a fake application.
True. Oh, that's a good idea.
That's what people have been on the anti-work subreddit. All of them, thousands of people went through and submitted fake applications with names like Oliver Closeoff, shit like that.
That's good. That's a good way of grasping.
I saw a couple people on TikTok made code that would automatically just keep sending it over and over and over and over, different ones to awesome. Randomized and everything.
That's like the thing that they did with the abortion clinics.
Exactly.
Or submitting legal claims against the abortion providers.
They flooded the site. So yeah, I would suggest everybody go submit an application to work at Kellogg, but do not work at Kellogg.
Yeah, no, bad.
Don't be the scab. Don't be the scab.
But in addition to Kellogg's, John Deere accepted the contract, I think after voting it down twice, but it included 10% raises.
They voted it down twice, and I think only about 60% of people voted yes.
That's crazy.
There was still 40% that wanted to hold out, and they were standing strong, which is sick.
I mean, if you didn't get to your goal, absolutely hold out. If you don't get everything you want.
Yeah, now a 10% raise, that's fire.
Yeah, absolutely. But I got a quote from the AP here. They said, and this is some vile stuff.
Okay.
They said, in a letter to Starbucks U.S. employees this week, Starbucks president and CEO Kevin Johnson reminded them of the company's generous benefits, including paid parental and sick leave and free college tuition through Arizona State University. Late last month, the company also announced pay increases, saying all of its U.S. workers will earn at least $15 an hour and up to $23 an hour by next summer.
Oh, my God. Wow. Free college tuition to a college in a state that I don't live in.
Yeah.
To a college where I've already got my college degree and I'm stuck working at Starbucks.
Yeah.
What the fuck is that gonna do?
No, I mean, it's literally just like a union busting. Like, you need to remember what we give to you.
Yeah, we are so generous. We are so generous, even though we take literally everything from you, even though we could not run without you. We're incredibly generous to you.
I don't know how much the CEO makes, but he makes literally infinitely more than any of his
They're just
workers do.
gaslighting every single Starbucks employee.
That's what they do.
Yeah.
That's what the capitalist mode of production is. It's just being gaslit.
Gaslight, gatekeep Starbucks. Like, that's it. Come on.
That's literally all it is. And obviously this comes after like the Starbucks vote. And they also tried to invalidate the results of the one Buffalo location that won by saying that all Buffalo locations should be voting together for a union.
Why? Why should they be doing that?
There's no reason. The NLRB said that there's no reason for that.
Good
and
shit.
that like legally they are allowed to vote for a labor union for one location. But that's what Starbucks tried to say to invalidate the election.
Wow.
Which is like, shut the fuck up.
They are jumping through so many fucking hoops just to avoid paying their workers better.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Anyways, in some worse news, on the opposite side of the spectrum when it comes to good news in the labor atmosphere ecosystem, Better.com, known like predatory lending kind of site. Actually, I don't even know exactly what Better.com.
I think they're like a mortgage thing.
Yeah,
like
it's like
online
some kind of
mortgages
mortgage
or
thing. It's
something.
one of those
which
scams.
is already like fucked.
Yeah,
you know,
it's one of those scam systems. But the CEO of Better.com, I think his name is Vishal Garg. He gathered 900 of his employees onto Zoom, 9% of his workforce, and fired all of them.
Every single one of them.
Yeah. He said that they were getting 1 month severance pay and 2 months of COBRA,
Like,
which COBRA is health care for unemployed, by the way.
But I think you still have to pay for it.
He said that they were paying premiums.
Oh, okay.
But you may have to pay like deductibles and copays.
Which is like cool, I fucking guess. But like, it's not cool because you just lost your job.
Yeah, you just lost your job.
1 month severance
Yeah.
is pretty much nothing right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, everyone likes to talk about how there's such a labor shortage right now, but people really aren't hiring. Like, it's a labor shortage in service sector jobs.
Yeah.
Like, up in your like middle management positions or whatever positions like Better.com, those people really aren't the ones hiring right now.
Yeah.
Work from home positions are kind of filled right now.
Yeah.
It's a tight market for them.
And just so you all can like visualize what this guy is like, I want to roll the clip and
God.
just know that this was like recorded by somebody else, so like you'll hear somebody's voice in the background. It's one of the employees that got fired. But you can just take a listen and see what we mean.
Hi everyone. Thank you for joining. I come to you with not great news. The market has changed, as you know, and we have to move with it in order to survive, so that hopefully we can continue to thrive and deliver on a mission. This isn't news that you're going to want to hear, but ultimately it was my decision, and I wanted you to hear from me. It's been a really, really challenging decision to make. This is the second time in my career I'm doing this, and I do not want to do this. The last time I did it, I cried. This time I hope to be stronger. But we are laying off about 15% of the company for a number of reasons. The market, efficiency, and performances, and productivity. If you're on this call, you are part of the unlucky group.
Fuck you, dude.
That is being laid off. Your employment here is terminated, effective immediately.
Are you fucking kidding me?
What does this mean for what's next? You're going to get an email from HR, askhr@better.com, to your personal email address regarding the details of your severance and your benefits. For all U.S. employees, we're providing 4 weeks of severance, 1 month of full benefits, and 2 months of COBRA, for which we will pay the premium. So 3 months total benefits if you elect for COBRA.
So now that you've seen that,
Bro really said, last time I did this, I cried. One. Why is this the second time you're doing it? If it hurt so bad the first time, why didn't you do everything in your power to avoid it the second time? And 2, if I were to do some absolutely vile shit in the midst of the holidays that were to affect 900 people, I'd cry too, dumbass.
yeah. No, but like He says he opens up and his reasoning is the market has changed.
Yeah.
You know what changed about Better.com? They received a $750 million boost from their investors.
Yeah, you know what changed? Their fucking profits through the roof, actually.
Yeah. They said, let us slim down and stop paying 900 people for their work. Rob 900 people of their material security.
God damn.
This dude's comically, and apparently he fired on that call the entire diversity team. Like, to the extent that they were doing, like, actual diversity and inclusion work, I don't know. But he fired the entire diversity team.
You can't do that.
That's, like, comically evil.
That's just racist. That's literally racist, homophobic, and sexist all in one.
It's comically evil.
How do you do that? Oh, my God.
This dude is, like, actually a villain. Like, I saw, like, I mean, it's bad enough that he fired 900 people at once and saying, like, oh, I feel so bad about this. He's clearly the victim here. But I think
I'd cry.
It's so funny. Like, he fired the entire diversity team. What could they have all done that was so bad?
Honestly.
Like,
did they hire more women? Oh, no.
yeah, I guess so. And Fox News literally praised him.
Shit is
They
putrid.
quite literally said, like, this is what you have to do.
We got to roll this clip, too.
All right, we'll roll
We
it.
definitely got to roll it.
I loved this, actually. I loved this so much. The productivity of those 900 individuals averaged 2 hours a day, even though they were paid for 8. And I understand the indelicate nature of this, but part of my role as a federal attorney when I was managing and acting director was terminating individuals, and I did it with the utmost respect and care. But I also had to do it with a lot of security measures in place. I love that for 900 people, he stayed safe, and he let them know that their theft was no longer tolerated. So for me, good riddance, and I feel bad that he's now having to capitulate to the other execs at his company and apologize for it. Sorry, guys, bye. For all of them, they're snowflakes. They're probably millennials and Zs. Yep.
Very surprised.
They need to learn work ethic. That's
Emily's
my
tough.
opinion.
Emily's tough. We're on the opposite
Tight ship,
side of
guys.
this.
Tight ship.
She said that people were clocking 8 hours while only working 2.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, probably a fucking lie. I highly doubt that their HR performance metrics that they use in the capitalist sense are actually capturing the amount of product that these people are producing.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's such bullshit.
And it's like, at most jobs, you are not putting in 8 hours of productivity every single fucking day.
No.
I'm sorry, you're not. There is so much wasted time that you spend at work every day, assuming you work like a 9-to-5 office job like that, or like a work from home job like that. It doesn't matter. The 40-hour work week is a fucking myth anyway.
It's a joke.
Yeah, but we still stay to these rigged capitalistic metrics because it's just what we've historically done. We're too scared to change.
Yeah, no, and here's the thing, is that Better.com has been growing and growing in profits while these people are apparently only working 2 hours while clocking 8. Clearly, they're being productive.
Yeah, it's working for you.
Like, if you only need 2 hours out of your day to be productive as you need to be, then what does it matter?
Facts.
Like, your bottom line is not being hurt by these 900 people being paid, like, a living wage.
Uh-huh.
What's the
If they even are be paying a living wage,
yeah,
to be
true.
fair.
They might not have been. But, like, what's the alternative? Everyone just becomes, like, an Uber employee, basically?
A contractor.
Yes, everyone's just
Literally.
contracted to work, and
That's where-
that's how the economy is.
As the gig economy continues to expand throughout every industry in the country,
Yeah.
it's ridiculous. And I can't believe she really just called 900 people snowflakes for being unceremoniously fired during the holidays. I thought that the people at Fox News loved the holidays. They're always talking about the Christmas
Bro,
war.
They were just crying that their Christmas tree got burned
That's what
down.
I was just gonna bring up. I saw this video on TikTok of them, like, somebody spliced the footage of, like, George Bush's speech after 9/11 to the Fox News host's responses to the Christmas tree, and it was like the same beat for beat, word for word.
Yeah.
And then they call them snowflakes for losing their job.
Yeah, some random
How do
like
you do that?
It was like some random homeless guy burnt down the Christmas tree,
Uh-huh.
and they lost their fucking mind.
Oh my God,
But now
dude.
these people can't afford to buy their kids Christmas presents, and they're snowflakes.
But no, they have 4 weeks of severance.
Oh yeah, because that'll help.
Exactly. That'll really get them going through 2022.
Yeah, because
through the new year.
a ton of people are hiring right now at well-paying jobs during the Christmas season.
They said, Happy New Year, everybody.
Oh my
Happy
God.
New Year. But in
These-
other words, you're just a piece of shit, good for nothing, lazy bootlicker. Pick up your bootstraps.
Yeah, pick yourself up by your bootstraps. And I love how like we don't give a fuck about this kind of action. We treat this as like normal. This is just how the capitalist system works. Like, this is just par for the course.
Yeah.
But then we treat the media more specifically treats like petty theft or like drug dealing or
Oh
burning
my
trash
God,
cans as
yeah.
like the worst thing that can possibly happen. Like crime is up 1,000,000,000%.
They treat $950 shoplifted from Walgreens
Right.
over the course of like a month as the end of the world.
Right. Like that kind of crime is terrible, but somebody just taking away the ability for 900 people to afford their bills is fine.
And it's wage theft is literally the number one form of theft in the United States.
And we
too.
don't ever recognize that.
It literally takes more money from people than all other forms of actual theft.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous, but nobody gives a fuck.
Like this dude, Vishal Garg, is literally a criminal.
Took no
Put him
pay
in jail.
cuts.
Put him in jail.
No pay cuts for himself. Like just these people are lazy. They're unproductive.
Yeah. This shit makes me so angry. Like why is it okay in our world for someone to just get away with this kind of thing? Like just taking away payment for 900 people, maybe more if they ended up firing more employees after that. Like it is absurd.
And it's just like,
And why do we
again,
protect these people? What are they providing for us?
Facts.
They're doing nothing.
Facts. And it's like, again, back to your point about these stupid capitalistic metrics. How the fuck do you measure 2 hours of productivity?
Yeah.
How do you determine quantitatively that, they have only put in 2 hours of work? Are you literally clocking, like many businesses do, keystrokes? Are you clocking keystrokes and mouse movements? Is that what you're fucking doing here?
Are they taking too many bathroom breaks? Too long of a lunch break?
Oh my God. Is it like an Amazon distribution center?
Yeah.
You count all their time off task?
Like it's them just adhering to these capitalist measures of productivity and saying that you're not doing enough for the company, so we got to let you go. It's a cop out. Like it's not a real reason to fire somebody.
Facts.
Like you're telling me that 900 people are just lazy?
You're telling me that the investors couldn't take a little bit of a hit? They couldn't take less millions in dividends? You're telling me that he couldn't have taken a smaller fucking or not gotten a bonus?
They weren't even taking a hit though. Bro got like a $25 million bonus.
He did?
Something like that.
Oh my God.
Bro got a couple million for his bonus. Like, dog, it is ridiculous. It is ridiculous.
So bonuses are fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Like, fuck you.
Yeah.
That shit is so dumb. Like, just pay your fucking workers, dude. You don't need to take $25 million. I'm sure his salary is already fat.
Oh yeah.
Like,
He's
shit is
he's
fat.
He's a millionaire if not a billionaire, yeah.
Bro quite literally took all that money and just started wiping his tears with the money.
Right.
He's like, last time I did it, it made me cry.
Like, even if it does, first of all, it probably doesn't make him cry at all. But even if it did
Definitely not.
emotionally hurt him, his material security is infinitely better than somebody that he just fired. Like, you're gonna be fine. I don't care if you're a little bit sad that you had to fire people.
Yeah.
These people now are gonna struggle to afford groceries and put food on the table for their children.
And
It's heartless. It's soulless.
this is also just besides the fact that if I got fired and my boss said, yeah, last time I had to do this, I cried, I would be so mad.
Yeah.
I would be just fuming from that alone.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
It's absolutely putrid. Guys like this are the actual criminals.
Oh, for sure.
Like, these dudes are criminals. Like, put this dude in jail.
This is the rich that need to be eaten.
Yeah,
You know?
literally.
You know, this
Not-
is the eat the rich kind of rich, not your friend's doctor dad,
No.
not your lawyer stepdad.
Yeah.
These people.
He's a demon. Like, how can you look at this behavior and be like, yeah, that's fine? Why have we culturally accepted this as just like par for the course? This is what has to happen if you want a good economy.
It's all okay.
People just have to like literally suffer and like lose their ability to afford rent. Oh my goodness.
So fun. And it's their fault.
Yeah, and it's their fault, by the way. They're
It's their
snowflakes
fault.
for wanting to live.
Even if all 9%, a substantial part of his workforce, was being unproductive, I guarantee you there were no meetings to talk about this beforehand. They just got fired literally out of nowhere, like it sounds like in the video.
Yeah.
Just out of nowhere. Like, there were no meetings. There was no intervention here.
Y'all think it's weak to want to afford rent? Is it weak to want to be able to afford food?
Facts.
That's
Hey,
snowflakey, apparently. That's snowflakey. You're a snowflake if you want to eat. How dare you want to eat?
Facts, right? Yeah, it's not very manly of you to want to be able to buy your kids Christmas presents.
You made Vishal sad.
Like Gary Vee said, it's better to be poor than it is to be rich.
Yeah, you should be grateful for this adversity. Oh my God. Anyway, you know what? Moving on to, this is better news compared to this Vishal stuff. I'm mad. Oh my God.
Damn.
There's some trouble in Ukraine, y'all.
Exactly. You know how we are about geopolitics.
Yeah, we are scholars of geopolitics. We've talked about Haiti. We've talked about Israel. We've talked about immigration.
Oh,
we
yeah.
know everything there is to know about geopolitics.
Facts.
So we're going to summarize what's going on in Ukraine for you all right now. So over the last week or two, there's been a buildup of Russian troops outside of Ukraine's eastern border, which is the one that they share with Russia. And I think it's between like 75,000 and 100,000 troops.
Yep.
Russian troops. And for those that don't know, Ukraine used to be a republic under the Soviet Union before it collapsed during the Cold War. And to me, it seems like Russia's trying to like regain some amount of prevalence over Europe and like Asia in general.
Yeah. But the tensions with the Ukraine have been going on for literally forever, haven't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, like they've always wanted to do this.
Oh yeah, in 2014 they annexed Crimea.
Yeah.
Which is a peninsula that was a part of Ukraine, and they just stole it. Like they just said, this is ours now.
Yeah.
And
that shit is so fucked.
The response from the West was literally nothing. We didn't do anything. Like that is and there have been since the Cold War, since like nukes have existed, there have obviously been invasions. Like the U.S. literally invaded Kuwait, literally invaded Afghanistan, and other nations have invaded as well. But there hasn't really been an act of aggression on this level before. Like against, I guess, developed nations, which feels weird to say, but like since Russia has a nuke and they're invading what we consider to be an ally in Ukraine, it's kind of scary.
That's facts. Like, how do you go about this? You kind of got to be delicate with it.
You got to be very delicate.
I think we're past the like age of full out ground wars. Like we already saw that with the war on terror. That shit was not really a boots on the ground war. There were plenty of boots on the ground, but that shit was fought in the sky. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, half of it was fought in the sky.
A lot of it was fought by unmanned drones in the sky.
Exactly.
Like bombing hospitals. Classic Obama.
Bombing hospitals, bombing bomb shelters.
Bombing weddings.
Bombing weddings.
Yeah.
So true.
Anyway, like I said, in 2014, Russia basically just stole Crimea from Ukraine. And like the West didn't really have any response back then, which I guess I don't know what the response would have been. But you can't just let them get away with that kind of thing.
It's so
because now they're doing this because they got away with Crimea.
Uh-huh.
And the U.S. historically has, like I said, backed Ukraine. We've been allies for a while. Impeachment was all about how Trump was, meddling in Ukraine in a really bad way. But we've been allies with Ukraine because they've resisted Russia. We've given them a lot of weapons before. I think we've given them like different kinds of missiles and stuff to defend themselves from Russia. But there hasn't really been a response from the U.S., which I guess, what do you do? I guess, but like, I don't know.
Like, this is the definition of a geopolitical quagmire.
Yeah.
Like, it's so fucked because, again, you can't really have a ground war. What is it, just Cold War 2.0?
Right. I mean, I don't think the Cold War really ever ended, honestly.
That's facts,
The power just transferred. You know?
But it's like, I personally think maybe you just sanction them, but then again, what the fuck is that going to do?
And Biden has threatened to issue economic sanctions. He's called them devastating economic sanctions to Russia if they do invade Ukraine.
Yeah.
Russia has said they're not going to invade Ukraine, but why would we trust them? But Russia's also said like there's going to be bad consequences if you send troops into Ukraine.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a mess.
But
and like
also,
Russia has nukes.
Like what kind of sanctions are we going to throw on them? Are we going to stop buying oil from them?
Yeah.
That'd be kind of fucked. That would be very fucked for the Democrats politically, considering oil and gas prices right now, and also considering that Russia is, I think, our second largest like importer of oil.
That might be
exporter. Like we buy the second most from Russia. It's Russia and Canada.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. It really seems to me like Russia's trying to recreate their global dominance that they had during the Soviet Union when they were second to the United States and first in some instances.
Yeah, true.
But it's difficult because Russia doesn't have much to lose anymore.
They've been struggling for a while, haven't they?
They've been struggling for a long time under Vladimir Putin. They're nowhere near a democracy. There's very little in the way of social rights in Russia. And they like their military, like they don't have much to lose in this instance.
Yeah, Russia fell off. Plus L plus ratio.
Russia did
plus young
fall
boy
off
better.
For real. The Soviet Union fell off, bro.
Damn.
Soviet Union really
young boy better.
But that's what makes me worried about this is because like they have the capacity to do something pretty like irrational.
And aren't
like,
Russia and China allies?
Yeah, they are. But China
That's
wouldn't
so
do anything
weird.
like this
I
because
don't think so either.
China relies on the economic well-being of the West and their allies in order to continue growing, and China's benefited a lot from the U.S. created system.
Yeah,
Russia has not, which makes me very worried about what Russia's going to do here.
This is going to be a very interesting development over the next few months.
Like I said, the United States, they've threatened to issue massive sanctions that will be quote-unquote devastating. That's what Biden said. Biden also threatened to send NATO troops into Ukraine, which then Russia said, like, you don't want to do that. So I don't know. It's kind of spooky.
Is it just going to be like Trade War 2.0?
I hope that's all it is.
Well, yeah, that would be great. That would be fantastic if that was the extent of this.
And like, again, not to be that guy that brings up Hitler, but like when Hitler was rising to power and they invaded Czechoslovakia and nobody did anything, like that was an important moment. And he invaded Austria and nobody did anything. It's an important moment because like that's people were rising to power and nobody wanted to respond militarily.
Yeah.
And a response back then would have been a lot easier than now because now we
nukes.
live in a post-nuclear world.
Yeah.
So how do you respond to one of the major powers in the world, which isn't, Russia's not nowhere near the top anymore. But how do you respond to a major power in the world invading an ally, and they could be threatening to invade more, planning to invade more? Like, I don't know how you respond to that.
You could do what Ukraine did and post a meme.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
So in response, the official Ukraine Twitter account posted a meme. It was the meme format that had like types of headaches, and it was like stress, hypertension, migraine, and then it had like red parts on where it hurt. And then it said the last one was living next to Russia, and the red was all over the head. I appreciated that. And then also a Taiwan organization, an NGO, posted the same thing but for China. Like that is a pretty funny response.
That's great. That's perfect. That'll really defuse the situation.
Like I honestly, memeing like that opens up politics for a lot of people. I think.
Oh, 1,000%.
Like I bet like a lot of edgy 14-year-olds were like, "Wow,
Like, wow,
what's going on here?
Russia's invading Ukraine. What's up with that?"
But yeah, like I don't know. It's a tense situation. I don't really know what you do. I mean, maybe we could run an old coup.
We're a bunch of fucking idiots.
Yeah.
So like,
I mean, we're scholars of geopolitics, but I don't know.
but not that big of a scholar.
Maybe the United States does one of its classic like coup attempts. We've done that before plenty of times.
We're like actively trying to do that kind of low key
where
in Russia.
Oh,
with
really?
the fucking opposition to Vladimir Putin, like that fucking dude. But then he was poisoned.
Oh, what is his name?
Is it Alexei
something?
Yeah, I don't know.
Alexei Navalny, something like that.
That sounds familiar.
I can't remember his exact name, but yeah, that doesn't seem as much of a coup though.
No.
I think that guy's just like a.
It's not like classic
yeah.
U.S. coup. It's more of like this guy is backed by the U.S.
Right.
It's kind of like is it Guaido in Venezuela?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the U.S. backed guy.
But like the coup in Venezuela was pretty weak. Or like the attempted coup, like
which attempted one are we talking about?
The most recent one, how we're trying to like wrangle Venezuela into control.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the one that was done by the PMC guy.
Oh no, I'm talking about how recently Venezuela. I mean, obviously Venezuela's been struggling for a long time as well, mostly because of U.S. imperialism.
Yeah.
But the most recent one, like the U.S. has struggled a lot to like rein in Venezuela with their dudes.
Classic.
I don't remember who's in power right now, but like that's besides the point. The U.S. isn't as good as they are. They're not as good now at coups as they used to be.
U.S. fell off.
U.S. fell off for real.
Damn.
I wonder if like China's running any coups anywhere. It'd be pretty
Maybe.
sick. That'd be pretty fucking cool. If we could run an old coup in Russia, that'd be something. That'd be something. But probably not though. Let's hope for no nuclear war though.
Yeah. We only like to run coups in nations that are helping their people.
True.
So
yeah,
that's kind of wild.
We don't want to run coups anywhere else, and we also don't want to support states that get devastated by tornadoes unless it's Kentucky.
True.
Do you know if that passed?
The relief?
Yeah.
I think it's like being voted on right now.
I'd have voted
shit.
no, just out of spite.
I know some people are saying add it to the Build Back Better bill so that you can force them to vote for it. But with that, I'm like, you can't do that. You can't do that because I don't know if that's going to pass.
No, it's not going to pass. And we'll just, you're just like playing politics with people that are literally dying.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, bro. Our whole political system is just fundamentally broken.
Fucked. It's all fucked. It is all fundamentally just absurd.
Yeah.
So.
But we're glad that you're here on the ride.
Exactly.
We're glad that we have you all here.
Glad you can experience it with us.
To listen to us each week, rattle off our really good takes.
Yeah, rattle off our really good, really intellectual, and incredibly academic takes.
Never putrid takes.
Not at all.
Never takes that we have to like work around in order to make them more public. Anyways, I think that probably summarizes the episode today. Hopefully there's no nuclear war with Russia anytime soon or ever, because that'd probably be like the end of the world.
Yeah, maybe you'll get a text on your phone. Maybe you'll get a text on your phone, a missile alert.
Yeah, maybe
crazy.
Joe Biden, wherever you live, they'll be like, there's a nuke about to hit one of the major cities near you. You have 12 minutes to hide.
Yeah, hopefully it comes after Wednesday. If it comes at all such, you can hear about it on the pod first.
Yeah, true. I think some intelligence reports said that like they're planning to move like January, early 2022 is like the most strategic.
They're trying to move the month. the month of
No,
January.
they're trying to make Russia's
Yeah, I
gonna
know.
make their move into Ukraine. I don't know how true that is. I heard that somewhere though, so we'll see.
Okay.
We'll see. Let's hope that doesn't happen so we can continue the pod.
Yeah, facts. I'd like
Thanks.
to continue this. I enjoy it.
Might have to start making the pod from the bunker.
Oh shit.
From a bunker. Turn the stew into a bunker.
How do we broadcast?
That'd be hard though. I don't know.
If it's like a concrete, if it's like nuke proof, I don't think you can get a signal through there.
I'll walk up with like one of like the anti-radiation masks.
It's like Fallout.
Facts.
Oh,
Bro, that's gonna be so cool. That's gonna be
Vault
cool.
69, baby.
I mean, if we're not turning into like an ANCAP world, we're turning into a post-nuclear or like war world.
Yeah.
That'll be heat.
And Capistan.
Facts. All right, y'all. Thanks for listening to the episode, and we'll talk to y'all next week.
Oh, before we go.
Oh! I almost
Gotta get
forgot.
a special
You got it,
thanks. I got it. Special thanks
Almost
this week to my mom, Nikki Nine Lives, Caden Kraut, Terrence Nicholson, Chris the Postman, Christy Beck, and Jeremy's mom
Can't believe I forgot.
for supporting the show on Patreon.
Can't believe I forgot. Will you all ever forgive me?
This is outrageous.
Maybe by next week you can forgive me.
Exactly.
Anyway, thanks for listening to the episode, everyone.
Have a good one.